Rogini College of Engineering and Technology. I am Boyke Selvi, Assistant Professor, Department of Physics, Rogini College of Engineering and Technology. In this video lecture, I am going to explain permissible exposure. Permissible exposure typically refers to the maximum amount of a hazardous substance or environmental factor like noise, radiation, or chemicals that a person can be exposed to without experiencing harmful effects. These limits are often set by regulatory bodies to protect workers and the general public from health risks. Some common context includes occupational safety, permissible exposure limit established by OSHA, that is Occupational Safety and Health Administration in the US, PELS specify the legal limits of exposure to substances like asbestos, lead, and formaldehyde in the workplace. Threshold limit values suggested by the American Conference of Governmental Industrial Hygienists. These are guidelines for the exposure limit but are not legally enforceable. Radiation exposure. Annual dose limits set by organizations like the Nuclear Regulatory Commission defining how much ionizing radiation workers and the public can safely be exposed to over time. Noise exposure. OSHA regulates permissible noise level in the workplace, often measured in decibels, over a certain period to prevent hearing loss. Environmental exposure. Environmental agencies like the EPA, that is Environmental Protection Agency, set a permissible exposure limits for pollutants in air, water, and soil. Maximum permissible occupational doses. Maximum permissible occupational doses refers to the highest level of radiation or hazardous exposure that workers can safely be exposed to over a specific period, as established by regulatory bodies to protect health and safety. These limits vary depending on the type of hazardous, example, ionizing radiation, chemicals, and are typically based on guidelines from organizations like the International Commission of Radiological Protection, the Occupational Safety and Health Administration OSHA, and the National Council on Radiation Protection and Measurement NCRP. For ionizing radiation, according to ICRP and NCRP, whole body, that is effective dose limits 50 millisievert, that is 5 rem per year, 100 millisievert, that is 10 rem over 5 years. Lens of the eye 150 millisievert, that is 15 rem per year. Skin, hand and feet, that is shallow dose 500 millisievert, that is 50 rem per year. For non-ionizing radiation, example electromagnetic field, regulations depends on frequency and type of exposure. The American Conference of Governmental Industrial Hygienists ACGIH and OSHA provide specific exposure limits. For chemical exposure, OSHA sets permissible exposure limits, while NIOSHA provides recommended exposure limits. Time weighted average. Average exposure over an 8-hour shift. Short term exposure limit. Maximum exposure for a 15-minute period. Ceiling limit should never be exceeded. Thank you.